Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you all are doing well this beautiful early morning in New York City. This is Spirit Journey. This is Spirit Journey. Today is Thursday, July 21, 2022, and the time is now 4:29 a.m. Yeah, I've been up now not too long. Boy, I'm wiped out from yesterday. Yeah. Um, yeah, it was a scorcher yesterday. And I want to talk to you about a little bit of my day. And what else? Yeah, I want to talk about yesterday's events in New York City, about the weather, the funeral for Ivanna Trump, um, and about reincarnation. Just processing all the information from yesterday. Yesterday was mentally very busy. Very, very busy. Um, yeah, I had to go out yesterday with my dogs, my three little dogs. Um, they had an appointment to get their teeth cleaned and their, you know, wellness exams and all that, their shots. Boy, it came to a pretty penny. And it would have been even more. One of my dogs, Lilac, the Shih Tzu, she was a fuss and she couldn't go through with the non anesthesia dental cleaning. Yeah, I think it was just too much for her. I mean, she's got had it done, but she's been sensitive. I think after her surgery 2 years ago, yeah, 2 years ago she had a major surgery, and she's afraid of being in these places. This anxiety, and I'm really sad about that because she's a really really good-natured dog. Everything rolls off her back, so to speak. But I guess some things make you vulnerable, feeling vulnerable, and mommy attempting to clip her toenails doesn't help either. So we have to make another point. Well, I made another appointment for next month for her uh, teeth cleaning. The old-fashioned way. The anesthesia. Yeah. So so, so that's what happened with her, and I had to carry them. Yeah, boy, I had them. I utilized two strollers. I mean, two like little doggy carriers. Uh, you can wear it as a backpack, and or you can roll it. Honey, the weather was in the 90s. Now, what I did yesterday, well, I really wanted them to get some air exercise, especially before getting their teeth cleaned. So I thought, it would relax them, whatever. So I did get out early, and yeah, she didn't really want to do any walking either. The Shih Tzu, Lilac. But we did a little walk, and I was to get back before 8 o'clock. Yeah, I wanted to really get there, get back early enough so that they can still have a little breakfast and then head out to the veterinarian in Brooklyn. Yeah. So we were to do we had to take the train to Brooklyn. No incidents on the train, but I was a little nervous. Um, Yeah, so it was a real, yeah, the doggies had gained weight, a lot of weight. And to lug them around on uh, the carrier with wheels was torturous. And I think the wheels were having problems. Yeah, it was a lot of uh, friction and pulling the thing. And the rope, what do you call it, the straps would get caught in the wheel. So it was not, I wasn't feeling it. Yeah, yeah, I feel for, just one second. Yeah, I feel for you ladies who have those human carriages, for your infants, and some of you have twins. I feel for you guys. I've seen plenty of times people carrying their strollers, and sometimes they would like pick them up with their hands, and lift it off the ground and walk up and down stairs. Oh my God! And you look like you had a lot of gear in that, man. Until you have to do it, you realize how difficult it is. So I give you parents and caregivers a big thumbs up, and true respect. True respect, yes. It is strenuous. It is dangerous. You can fall down a flight of stairs with those things, right? It's scary. And, as you get older, your muscles aren't as, you're not as strong. And even though I walk almost every day, I walk from 3 to 4, sometimes 5 hours. I'm outdoors, pushing the carriage, the big carriage that I have for all three of them to fit in. And it's like, I don't, I'm being honest, I don't feel any stronger. Not at all. It is a chore. And some things, they are what they are. So, yes, I have a big respect for parents who are toting their children, their infants, and all that. You have to go down and up those stairs. And then on top of that, the heat. It was in the 90s yesterday, 90 degrees Fahrenheit yesterday. I didn't know, I forgot that it was, yeah, someone did say last week that it was expected to be really hot this week. Yeah, all this week. But I forgot about that, evidently. Um, you just don't think it's going to get that hot, because if you're usually leaving your place early to get the cool of the day, and then I, race back home and have my air conditioning if I need it, my water, you know, you're not dealing with what's going out there, uh, at noontime and everything. Wow, unbelievable. The heat was, they don't have air conditioning in the subways. You go in there waiting for the train down the subway, the heat is immeasurable at times. And the amount of money that we pay, I, you know, I noticed something. You have countries that have, I've never been um, in anybody else's subway system outside of the US. But you see, many of them, it looks very clean, no graffiti. I trust that they have air conditioning. And that's one thing about New York City. Subways have always been filthy. And as the years go on, it's like, what do these people do? What it's like they don't really love themselves to allow something to get the way it is. I think it's like a gradient that they want to produce, like friction. They want to create this tension in New York City. That's the only logic I have. Garbage, filth, etc. So I had to go with these two carriers with my dogs, and two of my dogs were in the larger of the two, to fit the two. And yeah, they were real close. Yeah, and with them having gained weight, it's less room. And it's good that, I shampooed and trimmed their hair, so now they're fresh, and it's less bulk since it's less hair on them. Thank God I did that. They really would have been in a situation, I think. Yeah, I couldn't get another carrier on time. And then the little boy had his own carrier. He was in the small one, but he too grew. Yep, it was wow. So yeah, we were to leave to go into Brooklyn, and Brooklyn's an old city, old part of town too. Yeah, and they have those real steep stairs. They have a lot of old subways, and um, many of these subways, they don't have elevators or escalators, so you really suffer. Man, it was unbelievable. So I made it on time and everything. Yeah, my plan was, I really wanted to go see the funeral for Ivana Trump. Oops, sorry. What's going on? Oh wow, the screen. I see that the screen's not on. What's going on? I see that the numbers are still on. Oh wow, the screen froze. Wow. The screen, I see that the screen froze. Yeah, it's charging my iPad. Wow, the screen froze. It's a black screen that I see, but I see that the numbers are still, it's still running. So I'll continue talking. Yeah. So if anybody's on right now, please let me know that you can hear me. Yeah. So you can type in the number one if you can hear, and if you can't hear, then you can't put anything. Or if you can't hear well, or if it's buffering on your end, you can type in the chat room, hey, it's buffering, whatever. Please let me know. Yeah, sometimes you can't tell who's on watching. The counter's not working properly. So let me begin. Yeah, I mean, proceed. Um, yesterday I wanted to get a lot of things done. So I thought, okay, let me just start my day early, to stretch out their legs so that they get some exercise before they have to go on their carrier, um, and they be in transit to Brooklyn from Manhattan. Um, the weather was very sticky early in the morning. Yeah, even though I'm getting up early, it's still the heat and the humidity is unreal. Before it was very cool in the morning. I said, hey, this is great. Hey, I just get up real early in the morning, do my walks with my dogs, and hey, who would know the difference? Yeah, nature does. Nature does. So, let's see here. Yes, looks like it's still recording. Still looking at that screen, it's not working. Okay, let me begin. Say again. Yeah, so my plan was get up early, get the dogs a walk, then get a quick breakfast for them, head out to Brooklyn, come back, and go to the funeral. Yeah, Ivana Trump. Yeah, she's a New Yorker. She's been here for many, many years. Yeah, she's been here for many years and over 40 something years. Yeah, she married in 77. This was quite a while. So she's a real fixture in New York City. And even though I haven't heard much about her recent, the past few years, but that's part of the old school. And the old school, wow, it's changing so quickly. I go on the internet, just to, watch videos, whatever, but, to go through my browser. And you often have this new browser, and they have the like a cover page that has local news, headlines of local news, and that's how I found out about Helms. I mean, excuse me, Freudian slip there. That's how I found out about Ivana Trump. So yeah, she's a fixture here, and this generation of the glamorous. You had people back in the 1980s. They would like be bigger than life. You're not really sure why they're in the public's eye. I never really understood why a lot of people were in the public eye, or even Donald Trump back then. Why was he in the public eye? He was. And basically, what I know Trump for was his hair. That's all they ever talked about, his hair. And he was a joke. And he would come across very bigger than life. And they had just this big image. And this was part of my, people in my awareness, being from New York City. And at that time, I was started a job in the city and my college. Yeah, my college that I was at was not too far from where they lived, Trump Tower. Yeah, yeah, it had just opened up. And yeah, again, that bigger than life. Things were very polished. The rich seemed richer. You had rich white people, and they lived on the Upper East Side, and they wear these clothes. They just looked like wealth. And this is what I was exposed to. Their world and my world never really uh, collided. Yeah, it's two different worlds, completely different worlds. But this was something in my peripheral, and boy, I wish the screen were working. Sorry, yeah, the screen is still not up. Yeah, so any of you guys hearing this, let me know. Give me some feedback. Yeah, it was. I think I felt a little intimidated, but it was just an opulence. And I remember also Princess Diana, and she was in New York City too. And again, the worlds never collided. Their world and my world, but a mystery. And I was very curious about their world. And one day I had actually gone into Trump Tower. Yeah, it must have. Yeah, it was new. I forget the year. I mean, I don't remember the year it was put up, but it was made in the early '80s. So maybe around 84, 83, I went in it. That Trump Tower on, was that 57th Street and Fifth Avenue. I wanted to know what because it's very intimidating. See, in those days, like Trump Tower, that particular real estate, it's shopping center. It's like a mall. They have very high end um, merchandise there. Everything is gold colored, very, very, very swanky. And they had those guys, like in Britain, they had those guys with the red coat and the fuzzy hats. Well, that's what they had. I remember that. And I wanted to know, what is it like to be rich? What is it like to be in a place like that? Because blacks didn't work in those type of stores. Yeah, all along there, Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, the stores there, they didn't hire blacks. Or I should say also, blacks were intimidated to go there. They, I guess, didn't feel welcome. But I said to myself, I'm just as good as anybody else. Yeah. And yeah, I wanted to believe that. I'm just as good as anybody else. And so I went in and no one did anything to me. No one followed me. It was an interesting experience. I tried to figure out what was different about this store than other stores I've been in. One thing, the like the this clothing, it wasn't that many clothing. I remember that things were on like a hanger, and it wasn't that many items, but they were. Oops, sorry. But they were, pricing. Yeah, they were present. The clothes were presented very nicely. Hey, hi, viewer. Yes, good morning, good morning. Yes, the screen um, is not working, it seems. It was showing the Manhattan skyline, but now it's a blank screen. Let me know um, if you could see the skyline or something. If not, if you could see something, press a one in the chat room, and if it's a frozen screen, you can press a two. Yeah. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for the thumbs up. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Yes, yes. I'm just talking about my experience yesterday. Um, Went to had a lot of errands to do, and right now, yeah, I wanted to get back. I had an appointment to send my dogs to the vet, and then I know I wanted to race back and go to the uh, Ivanna Trump's funeral. Yeah, she lived in the city. She still lived in the city. Yeah, I know I used to go to that area because my school that I used to go to back in the 80s was around there. I went to Hunter College on 68th Street and between Park and Lexington Avenue. So it's not all that far, but the same type of neighborhood, very high end. And I just wanted to give my last respect to her, even though I never knew her, never met her, but um, she's a part in an era, you know, of the people who came across as like the super wealthy. Yeah, you had people who walk around like the super wealthy looking people. They're usually older people, like older. The women back then, they had their nails done in red. That red was the color. Yeah. And then in the summer, they wear salmon. Yeah, I used to do manicure pedicure back in the 80s too. Yeah. One of probably the only black women, American women, doing that type of work. That's an experience. Yeah, there was a lot of discrimination back in those days. But yeah, I was just explaining that I um, did go to what do you call it, Trump Tower back in the day when it opened, and I examined what the items were, what the clothing looked like, They were just regular clothes, but they were made very simple. But it was well made, but simple. It was very simplified. I remember, nothing complicated. Everything was clean and not that much merchandise on the hangers, in the stores, like a boutique you would call it. And it was a positive experience. And then I went home. Yeah, I always wanted to know what it's like to be rich. Where do the rich shop? How does it differ? And I also worked in the restaurants, the very high-end restaurants, too. Yeah, it's a world that I really didn't understand, and I didn't want to be intimidated by them. I think I was intimidated intimidated because they were older. I was nervous around older people because I saw, older people, they are disciplined, when you're young and you're living at home and everything is like discipline. Um, so that was a big reason, and they're different from a different race than me, and they had this persona about them. You can't, don't get too close. Yeah, back in those days, don't be a black person around these people. You know, consensus, I would say. But a lot of things also was in our mind. Our lives were separate. Now it's like everything is one big blur. I'm hardly ever on the Upper West Side. I don't care for the Upper West Side because of its snootiness. But everything seems different, and maybe because I'm different, because now I'm older. Um, the Upper West Side, so it seems like I, I'm really referring to like in the 50s area. It's not as what I remember it as. It seems more run down. Yeah, but the Upper West Side was, I mean, I'm sorry, the Upper East Side. It seemed like a lot of stores for children, like parents with children. The close to little, toddlers and babies. I remember a lot of that, but it seemed to be more, really to cater to the neighborhood that it's in, the stores, what they would want. And you go elsewhere in the city and it just appeals to the mass majority. It's not so neighborhoody. Um, so yeah, my plan was to get back. Yeah, her funeral was to be at a church. Oh, Saint Vincent Ferrer Church on it. Oh, what's that? Fifth. Yeah, I think it was on Fifth Avenue. In the '60s. Yeah. Um, but it was all good. I wasn't able to get there in time. I was exhausted. Um, yeah, after I dropped my dogs off, at first I was going to stay at the vet clinic. Maybe I should have done that. Yeah, because they finished early because one of them couldn't go through the procedure. Yeah, they finished around 1 o'clock. Yeah, no, maybe 1:30. Yeah, between 1 and 1:30, and yeah, and that's actually when I walked back. Yeah, I found like a little mall, hung out there for a little bit, and then I walked back. You know, yeah, the weather was scorching, so I didn't make it. Yeah, so I was still at in Brooklyn when the funeral started in Manhattan. So I said, well, I'll watch it on. Because I thought it was televised. I mean, outside. None of the cameras were inside the funeral, but there was a live camera outside of the church, and so you could when I got home and went on the internet to see if anything was put on the um, what do you call it? Yeah, when it was put up on the internet. Yeah, it was a live stream. So yeah, I came home around, yeah, what was that? 2 2:30 p.m. Yeah, 2:30 p.m. I got home, had my computer on, and yeah, I got there just in time to see them take the coffin out of the church and put it back in the hearse, and I saw the family members and their closest associates were outside. It was very, I felt very sad. I was very, very sad watching. How did it affect you people? How, I mean, any of you from New York City or the tri-state area, New York tri-state area, how did it make you feel if you watched it? Yeah, I just felt, I just wanted to give my last respects. Again, I didn't know her, I never met her, but she's part of an era in the time capsule. Um, yeah, you had people who seemed bigger than life, who reside in New York City, um, the super wealthy. I think like in New York City, we wanted to feel like we had royalty. We didn't have royalty, but we had people who uh, had the persona of having money. And that back in the 80s, people flaunted their money. People wanted you to know that they had money or, make you think that they had money. But everything's changing. People, that generation now is, they lived it hard. That was the generation that was partying. Yeah, they'd be in their 70s now. They partied, and not to say that she did anything improper, but the era, people was drinking, drugs, um, partying, and it's costing them their lives. Yeah, and I just want to, wow, just really come to full circle with it and to process, because it seemed very real to me back in the 80s. I was a very young person. I turned 18 in 1980, got my first little job that summer, and I started college a month later. It's right here in the city. So it was very, very, it was just an area of newness. I didn't understand, because now you have to be around different ethnic groups, different types of people who live outside your community. It was all new. Yeah, my school was right on the Upper East Side. I walk on Fifth Avenue. I walk to Central Park. Um, the subway, I would take the F train. That was my favorite train. The F, as in Frank, was cleaner. It had nice orange seats. It just had a cleaner look, the F train. I would get off on 53rd and Fifth Avenue. Yeah, they don't have that stop anymore for the F train. Yeah, it would be like it would enter this city on, I think, Lexington Avenue and 53rd, and then the next stop after that was 53rd and Fifth Avenue, and that's the stop I would get off at. I would get off and walk uptown and be in this real, swanky neighborhood. I would look at the storefronts, very, very high end. Blacks weren't allowed. You would find no blacks working in any of those stores, and it's always a mystery to me. And I didn't feel like it really wanted me there. But as I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, one day I took the nerve and I went into Trump Tower. Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue. I think it's on 57th Street. Yeah. I went in when it was really high end. They had the guys wearing the red coats and the black fuzzy hats like they wear in Britain. Yeah, that's who used to be there. at the front door. I remember that. And I went in and had a fantastic time. Yeah, also used to go to Bloomingdale's. Bloomingdale's also, that was a further, oh, where was that? That was on 50, oh, that's 59th Street. 59th Street and Lexington. Yeah, that's the also caters to money. I used to go in there all the time on my school break. I had like classes that I had like a 2 hour break or 3 hour break, and I would go to Bloomingdale's just to look around. Yeah, and this is all the type of places that people like that would go to. Yeah, and back then those stores it had white people working in there. Blacks didn't work in there. Now, you hardly see any white people in retail. You see Hispanics and blacks. Yeah, it's a different feel now. It's not as polished, these stores. Maybe because maybe I'm just growing up and I'm not as used to it. But it doesn't seem as high end anymore. Um, Kept up. The standards aren't the same. Back then you go in there, you're treated as they took they had a better work ethic back then. People knew basically their roles, what they to play. You working in those type of stores, you knew what was expected of you, and you did it. Yeah, people did. People. It was a standard of conduct. Now there's no standard of conduct. Now you have to be concerned about your life, whether you be attacked. You can get attacked by an employee. You have people who come from parts of the Americas where they don't have they're not taught certain standards, but they're being put in these jobs because they're cheap labor. You hear that? They're cheap labor. The standards of serving food. Yeah, I used to go to this restaurant. I was introduced to it by my then friend. It was a birthday party, and it was fantastic. It was they made French Italian cuisine, and I always get pretty much the same thing. I would get linguine and cream sauce and veggies on it, and then we have this dessert. It was like a chocolate. It was called chocolate mousse nightmare. It was like almost like a frozen dessert. The chocolate cake. It was the chocolate cake was served cold, and they would have a creme anglaise on the bottom, served with coffee Haagen-Dazs ice cream. It was out of this world. Yeah, I hope you guys can still hear me. Yeah, it was out of this world, the food there. And you were served very, very well. Now you have people, they don't dress the part, they don't act the part. I don't like it. I don't like it. I get takeout. If I'm going to eat something, I go get a takeout. Yeah. It's gone down in quality. So either way, so that's what my life was like in the 80s, and just a retro talk regarding that era that Ivana Trump and the Trumps, when they were a couple, Donald and Ivana Trump, what the atmosphere was like. Yeah, it was about show. So I wasn't able to go there. Yeah, no, no, everything was uh, guests only. There were people across the street that I could see in the video, across the street that, who, were, you know, give their condolences to Ivana Trump. And yeah, it's a beautiful casket, very beautiful. Um, I don't know, it just had a weird feel. Um, it just had a weird feel, the whole thing. Um, I know people, we all grieve differently, but it just seemed like something missing. Something was missing. I don't know. They handled I was surprised how quickly the funeral was. I thought, because she knew a lot of people. Well, you know what, people? What I realized also, what's come to my memory. Um, as we get older, mobility issues. She knew a lot of people. She was supposed to go out overseas the day after she passed away. She was going to go with her girlfriend. Yeah, her girlfriend was there. You saw the camera, when the cameras showed the guests, the very, very intimate. So it had her children, grandchildren, and they had her girlfriend that did the interviews. Yeah, they were going to go on a trip to Saint Tropez, I think it was, and spend time together. Yeah, she was. Ivanna was a recluse for the past 2 years, and her husband passed away too. Yeah, so that I think put her. Um, that would affect any woman. Yeah, she really loved it. He was a young guy. He was what 20 plus years, over 20 years her junior, and he passed away. I feel awful. Wow. So it hit her hard. And so she was just trying to come out her shell. I guess it was time, her time. Interesting. Um, Life didn't want her overseas. That's really weird. She was to go away. The day after, she actually passed away. They saw her the day before she died. The restaurant, she ordered food, a soup, a little soup. She didn't have an appetite. She was probably very weak, um, and she didn't have the strength to, you know, manage those stairs. Yeah, it really was starting to affect me yesterday. But may she rest in peace and power. Okay. So, um, what else do I want to talk about? So let me talk about now with the trip in Manhattan, in Brooklyn. So I had to go to Brooklyn with my dogs, and yeah, I hope you guys could hear me. Yeah, but please let me know if you could hear me out there. Please let me know if you can hear me, because the screen froze, so I don't even know whether. Yeah, I can see the numbers are still moving, like it's recording. So I hope it's. Yeah, I apologize. There's no picture on there. So anyway, you'll hear the birds chirping. Yeah, it's about 5:12 in the morning. So yeah, my trip to Brooklyn with the dogs. What I want to talk about? Yeah, it was downtown Brooklyn, near downtown Brooklyn, the veterinarian clinic. Um, yeah. Oh, the weather. It was in the 90s, and yeah, it was in the 90s, and it was unbearable. Um, you know what I noticed? Yeah, what I really want to focus on with this is that certain neighborhoods are not don't want you to relax. And this is a biggie in New York City. I think this is very important because it shows a mindset. And I did talk about this before in past video. Poorer neighborhoods. I mean, downtown Brooklyn has a lot of commerce, but it has um, a very large, especially now, immigrant population. Um, People from parts of the Americas, And you have people possibly refugees from parts of Asia. Um, very few whites there. Um, and they did have like a little shopping mall. Um, but it was like on the outside looked somewhat okay, but indoors it looked very empty, very uninviting. It had a very sterile look. It's like they dressed it up just enough to just have somebody come in, but it just was not inviting when you went inside. It was very, very, I don't know. I don't know. It was like, it felt it was like struggling. But yet they had some, stores that, might be considered a little trendy. I did not enjoy it. I went inside. The, it was, the air conditioning wasn't that good. Um, and like I had my stroller, I should say my carrier, my pet carrier. I had dropped my dogs off, but I brought the carrier with me. Um, it was I was like looking and looking, and you notice what I noticed? They didn't have any chairs to sit on. Nowhere. It had absolutely nothing for you to sit down on. You're tired, whatever. You're tired or tough. It was boiling outside in the 90s, and you need to get some relief. So I found them all. I asked around, and I said, "Hey, it's really hot for me out here. Where's there a place I can like, is there a mall or something, a shopping center, somewhere that has air conditioning?" And someone pointed where I can go. Um, it wasn't very positive at all. Um, you had, again, it caters to people of color, no seats. I walked around for a while, maybe 20 minutes, trying to find a place where I could sit down. And what else happened? Yeah, I finally decided to go into McDonald's, and I didn't want to go in. It was a small McDonald's, crowded. It was maybe a quarter to 12. Well, honey, when 12 o'clock hit, packs of people came on. Yes, good morning, good morning. Let me know if you could hear me. The screen froze, um, at least on my end. And let me know if you can see anything, or is it frozen on your end. Could you hear me? Yeah, let me know what it is. If you can hear me okay, or if you can press a one, just to let me know that at least something is going on that's is working. Yeah, it's been doing this for a while. Um, so just let me know if you can. If it's one, if you could hear me. Um, a two, if the screen is frozen. Okay. So let me proceed. Yeah, I'm talking about what I did yesterday in under the funeral from yesterday with the Ivanna Trump. Yeah, she was buried here, right in Manhattan, not too far from where I lived. Um, but either way, I had to go to Brooklyn first to drop my dogs off to get their teeth done. And the weather was scorching hot. It was 94 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, yeah, I found the mall. Uh, what it was not inviting, and I was forced to go into McDonald's to get a seat. There was some empty seats in there, and I didn't want to have to buy anything. And also, there's a sign that says on the wall, maximum stay 30 minutes, no loitering. Wow, I've never seen that at a McDonald's in other neighborhoods. But yes, this neighborhood, downtown Brooklyn, is people of color that shop there. And I did eventually buy a drink. I was there for maybe a half an hour. I said, let me just buy a drink. And so when I got there, it's maybe a quarter to 12 in the noontime. And when 12 o'clock hit, it was packed. A lot of kids, teenagers came in. It was very crowded. Um, I just didn't feel comfortable. It got really noisy. Beggars, you have beggars that go in there. Yeah, you notice in black neighborhoods, you have people come in and beg for you to buy them food. Um, I did in the past. I was like, it was like, yeah, I think it was a McDonald's. This was years back. I'm online to place my order, you know, at McDonald's, and a young man, like a 20-something-year-old guy with a backpack, young black dude, and then he turns around and says, "Excuse me, could you buy me food?" So I said, "Okay," because he asked me nice enough. His attitude when he got now, why was he online if he didn't have money to buy it? So it's probably something he's done before. But I was in a good mood, and I felt like if you can help someone out, help someone out. So it's his turn. I said, "Look, you order what you want, and I'll pay for it." And then when I get to, when he got to front, I let the cashier know that I would pay for it. Then he starts rolling his eyes at the lady, an attitude. Yeah, I'm paying. He's not paying for it. And I said to myself, not again. I will not do that again. And he didn't thank me either. When someone does something for you, you say thank you at least. But that's what happened. Um, and so yesterday when I went in, uh, a young man, like about the same age, his thing was to try to show like spirituality, put his hands like in a prayer thing, like what they do in the Buddhist thing. They kind of like bow a little bit, try to show that he's spiritual, asking for food. And he asked me nicely, and I was sitting down. I was exhausted. Yeah, I had just sat down, and I wasn't going to buy anything initially. I was just cooling down. I was exhausted. And I just said nice, politely to him. I said, "I'm sorry." Then he walked away, and he's going around asking people. And I noticed that um, they weren't nice to him. The guys weren't nice to him. The other, black people of color there, the men, the males. They were young dudes there, and they weren't if you're going to say no, you don't have to be mean. I didn't want to be mean to him. It's your call whether you want to give or not give. But don't be nasty to someone who asked politely. He asked politely. That's what I'm saying. Um, and I was going to change my mind, but I said, you know, if you say no, just leave it. Don't feel guilty. Don't. Um, but it made me sad though. Because I used to give. I used to give. I used to make the what do you call it? I'm sorry. I used to buy sandwiches for men that would approach me for food. I said, okay, I won't give you money, but I'll buy you food. Of course, I didn't have my dogs with me. But like, if I didn't have my dogs with me, if someone asked me for, I would buy them the food. But 2 years ago, I got groped by a beggar, and it affected me. And I said, I'm gonna stay. I'm not going to just keep my distance. Be. Yeah, I was very polite. And then he did what he did. And I did get the cops. Yeah, back then I had this cell phone. I was able to make it. Yeah, that was a whole. It was a whole drama. I did talk about it. Yeah, those of you who want to hear about that incident. Yeah, I put his face up. Yeah, I had his picture. I took his picture of the pervert that groped me. Going to ask me for money, and then he's going to grope me. Yeah, it's the mindset of the people now in New York City. And so I just trying to protect myself, and I was, very, very trusting. See, New York City now, the world now has changed so much. I do believe in caring for other people, but you have to protect yourselves, especially if you're a woman, you're a female. You have to protect yourself. And it doesn't mean that you're evil because you say no. If you say no, be polite about it and keep on going, you know. Um, or just don't say anything, just keep on going. Because you do have to protect yourself. And some people are professional beggars out there. So I eventually left the McDonald's. Yeah, I did buy a drink. The service. Now I thought they called my number. Then I went up with my number and showing my number, but no one get. The bad customer service. And they didn't keep the order together. They had the drink and the pie in two different areas. So they initially had, I said, hey, I'm waiting for my thing. Yeah, they had the thing ready. They did give my number, but they didn't, like, they just said it once, and then I thought I heard it again, but they didn't have my order. They only had one of the orders was with somebody else's order. So I said, well, I know I didn't order that. So they had a bad system, a lot of confusion. Um, I noticed also neighborhoods that cater to blacks and other people of color are understaffed, overworked, crowded. And I ask myself, why are areas that cater to blacks and other people of color and refugee communities, why it's understaffed, overworked, chaotic, beggars, this drama. It's not pleasant. This is in a land of plenty. This country is considered a rich country, but it has its I'm going to say it has its third world personas or districts, and they want to keep it separate. They want to keep the first world and the third world in the U.S. separate. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad when you don't have air conditioning in an establishment. Um, it also extremely upsets me when you go in a shopping mall that's catering to black people and other people of color, and those people who may think that they're white people, uh, but are just passing. It affects them too, and they have to go to the same places where I have to go as a black woman, right? And they don't have seats for us or benches. No seats or benches in any part of that mall. It had 3 stories, 3 or 4 stories tall, um, well established businesses, chain stores, but not anything to really cater for your comfort. So they want people of color to just get in, get out, and that's it. They want your money, but they don't want you. Hey, good morning. Good morning. So I guess you can hear it says, oh, okay. This is green glass. Okay. This is this is no third world country, which is why everyone comes here, where even homeless persons are morbidly. Yes. Yeah. But the mentality, how they're treated. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. I appreciate. Yeah. So you know what? Yeah. This is a rich country, but it treats certain people as beneath them. Money is money in my book. Money is money. You go in, you should get the same service. You shouldn't get different and also in black neighborhoods or people of color neighborhoods, um, it's overpriced. What you're getting is overpriced and is of a poor quality. Like the vegetables, you pay a lot of money for produce, but yet it's not a good quality produce. But what's very key, you're in a black or a person of color neighborhood when there's no benches or chairs for you. Go to any shopping mall and you will see nowhere for you just sit down to take off your shoe, just catch your breath. I went on all the floors. They had about four stories, three or four stories. I walked throughout the whole thing, and nowhere was there something to sit down. The only place you could sit is um, McDonald's. They had other stores like those makeup stores, and no, no cheer, nothing, nothing. So what I did, so when I went into the McDonald's and uh, I didn't buy the drink right away, and then I saw this sign that said half an hour only for the seat. So they tell you, hey, you can't stay here more than a half an hour, and then you have to leave. And it said no loitering. So I was already there for about a half an hour. I said, look, I'm here already, and I was thirsty. I had my bottled water, but I wanted something cold, so I did order a drink, and then I left with it. Yeah, and apple pie I bought. And then I sat down across from I walked a couple of feet and I found a little spot where I could just sit down. Oh, yeah, also, this mall has the train. Oh, what is that now? The Long Island Railroad stops in there. Yes. The section I went in has, the Long Island Railroad, it's expensive. It used to cater to a lot of white people back in the day. Who would take it were white business people. But now it's changed a lot, the demographics. And usually they would cater to the people who would take the Long Island Railroad, and you have businesses that these people want to go to. But they didn't. It's just in and out now. Because, see, the demographics change. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. The thing, did it go on? What happened here? Oh, I think I know what happened. I pressed, I think I know what happened. I'm sorry, people, I know what happened. Why the thing got black. Embarrassing. I pressed, my thumb hit the button to toggle the screen. That's what happened. Yes, good morning, good morning. My apologies. That's what happened. I couldn't figure out what happened. Can't believe I did that. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, and sunrises will be around in 9 more minutes. So good morning, sunrise out there as well. Good morning, sunrise. Yeah, so let me proceed. So what was I saying now? Yeah, so I took my drink and my the rest of my food, and I found a little spot. Yeah, it was right across from a Starbucks actually, and I just sat down to eat, take my drink, and I was there maybe no more than 15 minutes. And guess what happens? A black security guard comes, older guy, and he says like, "Good morning, good afternoon, good evening." I said, no, then I raised up my hand and said, "Okay, okay, it's okay. I know. I'll go." I didn't want to hear his speech or whatever. I knew what he was going to say. I knew what he was going to say. I can't sit on the floor. There's no so I get up. I had difficulty getting up, and I told them I was just finished. I just bought something. I just wanted to get something to drink. I said I couldn't find any chairs to sit in, and I felt like he thought I was I got the impression he thought I was loitering or a homeless person or something. And I wanted to explain to him why I was there. I said, "Look, it's extremely hot outside, and I had dropped off my dogs to get, to the vet, and I needed something to drink. And I said, there are no chairs here. And I just was tired. So I said, where can I get a seat? There's no places for you to sit in. He said, oh, well, around the corner, there's some benches over there. So I did eventually find it, but it was right in the sun. Yeah, if they do have benches in a person of color neighborhood, there's no trees really. I mean, they had some trees, but it was in direct sunlight. And again, it's 94 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's very insensitive. I felt this was very insensitive. Where do you go to sit down? Really, you're inside the mall. But I noticed something else, people. We're going to get at. See, I notice that you can have malls. The malls that are catering to white people have the benches. For example, there was a mall that opened up 2019, I think it was 2019. It's called the Hudson Yards Mall. Brand new. And they have benches. Yes, they have benches. Yeah. That mall is catering to high end. It has ultra high end. It has Tiffany. I think yeah, Tiffany. All very high end, high priced items. So it's catering to the rich and for tourists. And it's very cosmetic looking, very plush. I think it has bathrooms also. I think it has bathrooms. But nice. It's there for you to stay. Has nice lighting. Oh, they have a food court, food on the lower levels. It wants you to stay as long as you can. And, it's discriminating. New York City is discriminating against the poor, not having seats available for us. Or comfort station. What if you have to go to the bathroom? What if you're a mommy with children, you have to change the diapers? Or you have to go to the bathroom? Now, you know what the security guard said to me? Like he walks me outside. So he's probably going to think I'm not going to walk away. After he told me that, when he was just about to say, you can't sit there. Um, yeah, we go outside. Um, what was going to say now? Um, yeah, it's like they, he said, oh, well, They used to have benches, but the homeless, the homeless people, and blah blah blah. You know what? Homeless people need a place to sit down too. What if your place was on a fire? What if you had a fire in your home, or a hurricane, or something? What if there was a natural disaster and you lost your place overnight? And let's say you're staying in one of the shelters. They have many shelters in New York City. What if you're in one of those shelters? If you're in the shelters here in New York City, you cannot stay there. Like, you only sleep there, and then you have to leave in the morning and come back in the evening or late afternoon. So it's forcing you to walk around to spend the money you don't have to get something to eat or whatever, because see, there's no benches, and you may need a place to sit down, right? And so you're forced to get a drink, to buy a drink in a store that you can't stay in long. So they're making your actions to become potentially criminal, because you be considered loitering. It's a godless society. It's very godless. Anybody could become homeless. And being homeless is not a crime. I'll repeat, being homeless is not a crime. Losing a job is not a crime. Put this here. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, losing a job is not a crime either. So why do they treat you like a criminal? So I felt badly that, see, it's the attitude. It's the attitude that people, and they're using black people and other people of color to do this, which makes me even more angry. These security guards are one check away from poverty themselves. I used to do that type of work. I worked indoors, though, at a financial institution. I did it for like 2 years maximum, and went to school in the morning. Yeah, worked a graveyard shift and went to school in the morning. So it's really something. You're like a criminal, and that's what made me feel bad. That I'm forced to sit on the ground inside the mall. It was near the exit. I was really, wait. Yeah, I was near an exit. And just, yeah, and then later, while I was there was like one or two people came by, were standing, they were on their phone. I think they were waiting for the train. Yeah, the LIRR was there, beyond the doors. So this is what I experienced. So I felt sensitive. I said, wow, what if I were homeless? Where would you go? It's really food for thought, people. What do you do in situations? Yeah, so New York City is really catering to the haves and have-nots. And God forbid if you have not. Because everywhere you go, yeah, why poor people die earlier is because there's more stress on us. You have to stay on your feet longer. You have to work in poor air conditioning, overcrowded, no bathrooms. And then you have these security guards. Oh, you can't stand there. You can't sit there. So where do you go? Your actions of living should not be, um, shouldn't push you that it's a crime. It's just something. And so I said, wow, I hope this is the last time. Oh, I do have to go back. Yeah, I was saying to myself, I hope this is the last time I have to come down to Brooklyn. Yeah, this was in Brooklyn. And I said, I hope I don't have to come back down here. Yeah, so I was still waiting, to go back to the veterinarian to get my dogs. Yeah, my dogs had to get their teeth cleaned, and they said it'll take a couple of hours. So I gave it like an hour and 45 minutes because I just wanted to get back. I said, to not have a place to sit. Oh, and when I was directed to where there's some benches, it was right in the sun, and it was 94 degrees. I said no. Yeah, who did you see there? But black people, Hispanic people, the poor, poor, this the social demographics of this area is Poorville, and it's like wow, this shouldn't be like this. This shouldn't be. Yeah, and you know what else it reminded me of? I had the opportunity to live in the Caribbean. You know what else? Okay, the Caribbean is black, and yes, some of them might classify themselves as Hispanics, but it's black. The West Indies. Yes, you have places that they can speak French, some of them can speak Spanish, some of them can speak Papamento, some of them speak English, etc. But it's the West Indies uh, got formed because of slavery and Latin America, slaveryville. So when you go to a place like the West Indies, and I was in the U.S. Virgin Islands of St. Thomas, oh, what did I notice there too? There are no benches. They have all these swanky resorts. And who goes to these resorts? People, primarily. Okay. But the locals, the local people who live there 24/7, who have homes there, children, go to school, etc. I'm reminded that there too, there were no benches or anything for them to socialize outside. None. In paradise, this is what paradise looks like. Paradise for black people is a death sentence. You work, 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 work. You're there just to work. You're not there to uh, relax. If you relax, you're in your home. And what is home life there in the West Indies? Well, if you're a woman, you work in your house because you're doing the cooking and cleaning, and then you have your job outside, your 9 to 5 job. So you have two jobs, and you're stressed out, and there's really no place for you to go. You don't go out anywhere. You go home, and you get your food. You cook your food, and you get ready for the next day. There's no real places for you to walk around, to socialize. Like here in New York City, I used to do my videos in Central Park. Remember that? And what do you see? You have benches, people. You have benches in Central Park. Who was Central Park designed for? It was designed for the rich white people. Back right after slavery. Yeah, Manhattan had slavery at one time. It ended before the South. Yeah. And I did a video. Remember, I did a video a couple of, maybe 2 years ago about Central Park, the history of Central Park, and the black community that used to live in Central Park before it was Central Park. Yeah, I did a live stream. I did a live stream a couple of years ago. It was called, oh, I forget the name of the community. But yeah, it was a community which is now a part of it is Central Park, but it was a separate community before Central Park was built, and it was a community of free black people, and then white people also moved in, and so you had an integrated society of black and white people, and then these developers got their hands on to buy it up, buy the land, and make it to what it is today. And they were pushed off. Yeah, that was a good video. I liked that video. I did. So yeah, I had an opportunity to live in the Caribbean, and again, you don't have place. So if you're a local person, there's no it's about work. You're there to work. You're working for someone, and that someone is usually a white person, a white man, or you have a job at a white institution, a one of the major hotels. You're working for them. You're not, I mean, there are people, West Indians, black West Indians, who have their own job or something. They might have their own little business. They usually do more than one thing if they're going to have a business, because Caribbean life is expensive, and it's about work, 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 and it's not about relaxing. Uh-oh. Sorry, battery is low. It's not charging right. Oops. Let me see if I can put the thing back in. Sorry about that. The my battery's going low. It's not charging well. So let me try to hurry up. Yeah. So I apologize if it spontaneously stops streaming. You know what happened. But I hope it starts to recharge. So it said 5%. So let me hurry up. Yeah, so this is what's happening. New York City is going to be like the West Indies. New York City, Manhattan, is an island, Manhattan Island, and it's really making it for the haves and have-nots. And it just was reminiscent when I went to Brooklyn yesterday, and there's no benches for you to sit in. Um, this is maybe I could write a letter to the mayor and talk about this disparities. There is a disparity between whites and people of color in the places that are catering to them, and I'm sick of it. So what else? Oh yeah, so reincarnation. Yeah, I also wrote here about reincarnation. Yeah, yeah. So when I got home yesterday, I saw a program about reincarnation, and I guess also with Ivanna Trump passing, and that was on my mind. And yeah, there were these young children that were expressing to their parents about reincarnation, that they were something else. And it took me to heart. I thought it was something that, what is reincarnation? Is it real? I mean, I've heard of the word reincarnation over the years, but I didn't take it seriously. But as you get older, and I am getting older, we're all getting older every day, I started thinking about it. These children, they would say to their mommy, they said, mommy, they were like little ones, 4 years old. And they said, mommy, I saw you, walking in the snow. And I said, I want her to be my mommy. And then so the mother, I guess, humoring the kid, said, well, how did you get in? In me. If you're outside, see me walk in the snow. He says, oh, well, I was up above, and then I some type of cord or something, and it went in through the crown of her head. I said, oh my goodness. Yes, some of the kids, these are young children, and they were talking to their parent. They said, I selected you. I saw you from above, and I was to choose, that one of them said there was like a, what do you call it? Like when you're watching a movie slide, like a slideshow. And they were looking at the pictures of them, and they said, yeah, okay, I'll choose this one. I'll choose this person to go into. And I said, wow. So I started wondering, is this part of the matrix? Our soul is somewhere. Because that in our current day life, there are scientists that could download your consciousness, or what you call consciousness, in a computer. And if it's a computer, they can show you things, video, or audio, video, right? You can see it. What if people, many of you know, I do the, what do you call it? Meditation in the morning upon awakening from dreaming or sleeping. And it's this special time that it's like a window. It's like a buffer zone where you're in between different states of existence, I believe. And I saw at one time, this was recent too. This could have been last month. There was like I saw like a video, and a video within a video. Let me explain. Like, let's say you're watching a screen, like you're watching this screen here, right? And I was seeing this for the first time, and I said, wow. So I wanted to focus on one small area to try to, you know, where is this place I'm seeing in this meditation? And when I did that to try to focus so I could mentally know what, recall. See, with me in recalling, I have to mentally say, okay, I see a such and such. Okay, I see a building. Okay, I see this and that. That's how I can recall it. That's what I do. In my mind, I say it. So when I was focusing to mentally be aware of what I'm actually seeing, a small like a small picture within this frame, uh to to the side of the main image here, what you're looking at. It was a video playing, like a small, it was maybe an inch in diameter, like a circle, a semicircle, and it was like a video playing, and I can see it. I said, oh my God, I see someone in that running or something. It looked like an old time uh, footage of something. Well, these are different dimensions, different consciousness, I believe. And I believe that when you're asleep, you can go into different awareness. Just like when you have a regular dream and it might seem real, you can feel things, pick things up, talk to people, right? Smell things. And some dreams seem more real than others, right? Well, I think those little children and the possibility of reincarnation is a real phenomenon, that our consciousness are somewhere else, housed somewhere else. And I believe that the method of meditation that I do in the morning can serve as that you can go in between states. And one time I saw I know this sounds bizarre, but like a scientist. And they were like looking at me. I believe that we could be housed in another reality. And so even this one might seem real, but you really might be somewhere else. Reincarnation. Look at that person, Steve Jobs. the guy from Apple. I think, yeah, he's from Apple. And someone, he had his loved ones around him when he passed away. And they said just before he transitioned, he saw something. He said, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." He was like, wow. He was seeing another world. And he's going to be in that other environment. And it's going to be just as real. Isn't that something, people? Isn't that something? This is some type of reality. I think this reincarnation, and I think dogs. Sometimes my little dogs, see, they're right there. Sometimes my little dogs, you can tell that they're dreaming. They might be moving their legs or start barking, like a small bark, because they're interacting with something. I wonder, do they choose what dogs are going to, what body they're going to go into? Imagine, people. To say, hey, I want to go in this body because I want this lady to take me. And also the fact that the key thing was when the child said that they saw like a slideshow. And I know what he's talking about. Like one day some years ago. Yeah, it was I was still living here in this apartment. I was really tired one day. And before I even put my head on my pillow, like a slideshow came on real quick, rapid fire of all these different pictures. And then I was out. But I remembered seeing it before I blacked out, before I fell asleep real hard. Yeah. Um, there are things that are being selected. And what's monitoring it, I have no idea. I have no idea what makes us have that phenomenon versus other days. I think sometimes the veil might be thin at times, and then we get a sneak peek of these multiple slideshows that are on. I think it's a computer. I think it's a computer, an AI, a very sophisticated, highly sophisticated computer. And it may select, okay, so and so's had that um, awareness. Okay, now we're going to show her something else. I believe we're having multiple existence simultaneously to this one. That's what I think. And that travel, I've been in places. One time I had a dream, but it was different. And I believe I was actually there. I saw a person. I saw this building. I've never been to sub-Saharan Africa. Never. And the guy was looking at me. He was an older man, African man. And I was like looking at him like, who are you? And he was just smiling. He seemed to be aware. He knew exactly what was going on. Maybe I came in as like a spirit or something like that, like a light thing. And then I walked away from him. And was looking at the ground. The ground was very dry. It was dirt ground. And then I looked up and I saw this orangey, like this building made. It looked like it was made out of mud of some type, with cut out windows, all staggered and everything, not in alignment and by rows or columns at all. And I've never been there before, but I had it in my dream. It was a really weird. It's. I think it was that I was really there in my spirit. Yeah. Um, yeah. Multiple worlds, people. Multiple worlds. And I think that these computers, yes, good morning, viewer, good morning. My batteries are low, so I apologize if we accidentally get cut off. I want to try to pick it up. But yeah, this reincarnation thing I believe is real. Hearing about those children talk about their experiences when they saw multiple slideshows and who's going to be their parent, and that they said they're going to choose their parent. I believe this. And also, like, other meditation sessions, I've been seeing exotic animals. Yes, I did. And it was very clear. One of them was so clear. Like I was taking a zoom-in camera of this bird. I did contact someone. They never got back to me. I talked to a bird specialist in one of the universities here. Um, I guess maybe you already went, he or she went on vacation. Yeah, it was a he. Yeah, I saw this bird about the size of a sparrow, and it had a turquoise collar around its neck. The color, light turquoise blue neck. So if any of you are into doing research for me, whatever, to try to find out if this bird exists, it's about the size of a little sparrow, maybe slightly bigger, but like it had like a neutral color, the body and everything. Just its neck had a light turquoise blue color. And then the other bird that I saw, it was a very long, skinny bird, very graceful looking. It looked almost as skinny as like maybe an inch and a half diameter. The body seemed very long, like a foot long. It moved very gracefully, and it was a flock of them. A flock, and it was white in color. Yeah, so it's white, a very long, thin, graceful body, about maybe a foot long, long wings. Oh, and its beak was a long, skinny, like almost a needle thin beak. It moved very gracefully. Yeah, and it was a flock of them. I saw that. That I saw maybe a month ago. I think it was in June. Yeah, June. I think it was early June. I saw June of this year, 2022. Yes, I saw this. Yeah, let me know. Any of you who are bird specialists, animal specialists, if you know what type of bird those were. Yeah, the one that's small like a little sparrow with a light turquoise blue neck. That was the only color, and then I think the rest of the body was like a dark color, just like a sparrow, very neutral color, very pretty. And then the long, skinny white bird with a long, very skinny beak. Yeah, it came to a point real long, like an inch long. It seemed very skinny. It was very beautiful. It was very the beauty of the bird. It was nice. Yeah, it was all white. So those of you who know it, no, and it's not a pelican. That's a big bird. This was skinny, just tiny, very slender, very slender. Nothing like a pelican. I know what a pelican. Nothing like this was very thin, almost razor thin point beak, about an inch long, slender, very skinny, very like tubular, long way. Oh, it was beautiful. Yeah, I'm seeing these things, these wildlife, in some of my meditation sessions that I have early morning. When when I wake up from sleeping or dreaming in the morning, I do my meditation thing in bed. Keep your eyes closed and just as if you're looking at your eyelids and just gaze in it, and boom, you see uh, visuals. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing the things I've seen. People been in locate. Oh yeah, the latest person I saw was an African man. I kid you not. I mentioned this was maybe 2 weeks ago. I saw an African man. He was in a home, a modern home. It was dark in the room. He was sitting in a black, looked like a black leather chair, a cozy chair, and you can tell he must be looking at a TV or a monitor because the light was reflecting off of it and shining on his face. And he's looking in excitement, and I'm seeing him from above in front of him. And then all of a sudden, he looks up and he makes a mean look in my direction. And get this, people, you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. Those of you who didn't hear this story, I made mention of it. He took a spear and tried to poke whatever what he saw at it. I kid you not. That's the first time. Oh no, no, wait. Um, that was the first time that something directly, a person directly uh, seemed to be affected by. I assume that he sees me. How does he see me? That would be interesting. Does he see me as what I look like? Again, I was up in the air, see him from above. Did it come in as a, I would imagine I came in with a form. And you know why I say that? Um, because if I came like a light, I've shared before that I've seen an orb, a beautiful pure white orb. It was the size of a marble. Now I doubt someone would take a spear, an African dude would take a spear and try to hit an orb. You know what I'm saying, people? What do you think? Do you think someone could take a spear and try to stab? You stab at something that looks real, right? That looks like an animal or person, right? That makes more sense. And he looked angry. Oh, wait. He gritted his teeth. Yeah, his features were different. He had a very unique nose. He was a dark complected man. He didn't look like he would be really big. Um, thick body. Um, he was shirtless, but he had these necklaces, these long necklaces on, several necklaces on. Um, yes, several, about maybe 4 or 5 necklaces, long ones. And he was angry at whatever he saw. He took a spear. And I opened my eyes. I said, oh, shoot, what's going on here? So I opened my eyes. And then I closed them again. And that's when the spear was already up. So you know what, people? What I gather from it, see, this is important information. What I gather is that your essence could relocate. Part of your essence could relocate, could separate. I presume. And again, why I say that is because, see, the fact that I opened my eyes thinking, okay, maybe it's just something else, and everything is normal in my room. I'm in full consciousness in my body, and I was full consciousness when my eyes were closed. So I reclosed my eyes, and that's when the thing, he was still trying to poke something, because by this time, he was trying to jab at something. The thing was all the way up in my view, up where my face would be. And I said, "Oh my goodness, he's still there." Yeah, because I thought once I open my eyes, the connection is uh, is severed. See, that's what I thought. You open your eyes, everything gets severed. You won't see it anymore. Well, yet sometimes you do. And evidently, even when I opened my eyes and then reclosed it, my essence, my appearance is still in his location, people. And he was poking. So I'm wondering. I mean, I don't know where this place was, but my instinct, this was Africa. He looked like an African man, but he lived in a looked like. I mean, it was dark in the room, but he had something, some monitor. I don't think it was a fire. because the color of the light off his face, you know, uh, and it was reflected evenly off his face. So he's looking at a TV or a monitor, watching something that highly entertained him. He was really excited and kind of jumping in his chair. Yeah. And I interrupted. Why the other question I have about this phenomenon, what makes me see what I see? It's not like I said, oh, okay, I'm waking up this morning. I want to see such and such. I want to go such and such place. No, I don't do that. I just wake up, keep my eyes closed, and then whatever what I see would see. And that's what happened. And I see this individual. Never seen him before. I don't know what place. And again, you cannot engage with the subject that you see. You can't like touch anything. It's just like I'm an observer. That's all that I am, an observer to something. So I didn't know that I could be seen. He saw me. Yeah, very bizarre people. Very bizarre. Yeah, I prayed about that situation. I prayed to the universe. I said, I in no way want to butt into people's private lives. That's a no-no. You don't invade people's space without permission. I said, look, universe, I did not ask to be, to see him, whatever. I'm not here to snoop on people, whatever. I'm just doing my meditation. And I just thought I'm just an observer, like you're watching a TV. But evidently, what happened, it was no TV show. Something, some awareness was there and saw me. Amazing. Amazing. So I don't know what it is, people. Is this, seeing that, is this a person that's in existence now? And if so, where? And why did I choose there? Why did my subconscious or whatever choose a place like there and in someone's home? Really something. So evidently there's something going on in your subconscious that's working and you don't even know it and permitting you to go to places. Wow. So yes, reincarnation, I believe, does exist. I believe that there are multiple existences that are happening, and that some of these existences are past. Some things that I saw before, something that looked like from the turn of the century, like the early 1900s. Yes, I did. I saw it. Yeah, and I saw it like I think in a 2 day period. Yeah, I documented that as well. Yeah, in my videos. I have a playlist um, of, I think it's titled Visions, but I may indicate dreams as well, you know. So I think some of the dreams I have are, seem very real and really by information about myself. Yeah. So that's about it, people. I know someone wrote some message. Oh, let me look at it. Let's see, who's this? Oh, Greenback. Oh, the messages were retracted. Okay, I see that the message they wrote was retracted. Yeah, yeah, I don't know why that happened. Why you retract it, but either way, it is what it is. So if you feel that something is retractable, then why waste your time in putting something down if you have to remove it? Yeah, you don't have to do that, But yeah, each one teach one also. Each one teach one. See, I can learn from you guys also. And many of you might know people or been in places that I describe or seen the type of animals I've seen. So that's why it's important to know, to get your feedback. I know I'd like feedback. I want to understand what's going on in the world. You know, I was raised like any other person here in New York City. Your reality was just you and your family and your job, and that was it. Of course, I've heard about what they call reincarnation, and I thought it was all hogwash. But now, through meditations, uh, there is other reality that runs alongside this existence. And people are saying that time is an illusion. They say that time is an illusion. Like a CD, like you buy a what do you call it? A record album, and you have different songs. Some in the beginning of the record, some at the end, but they all can play simultaneously. It's the point of attention, people. It's the point of attention slash that needle that goes on the record. Yeah, I am old school. We used to have what's called a record and a record player. It was like a plastic disc, and you put in this box, and then this arm will come over with a needle and like a little pointed thing, and you lie it gently on top of the disc. They're called vinyls. And then it would spin around and the music would play. Yeah. And so you can play anything at any time according to where you place the needle, people. Where do we place our needles in our lives? Why do people experience the things that they do? I'm really starting to analyze my life. It's like certain things that keep repeating itself. I said, okay, why is this happening? Why am I having the same type of experiences? What am I doing to get this experience? And what am I supposed to learn from these experiences? What are they? Are these things that I was to learn? Did I choose to learn? Like the little boy said, hey, I chose you as a parent. It's amazing, people. Or is this all part of the matrix? I think this is a very sophisticated AI computer. This is a very highly sophisticated, very sophisticated computer. And some people just know how to play the game better than other people. It's like a game. I don't like this game. I really do think I'm on a spiritual path. I'm not meant to. I'm really like an observer of life, and I'm supposed to learn something. Learn about human nature. That anything can happen, and that this really is all an illusion. That people are people. And how we can be deceived. Like we might think, oh, well, this person looks this way, so they're probably that way. It doesn't work that way. And I'm learning, I think it's an important lesson that I'm learning about rich and poor. Just because someone wears a nice outfit, nice jewelry, nice hair, and all that, this doesn't make them proper. And just because someone is wearing sneakers, a t-shirt, it doesn't mean that they're not good people. They may be really honest, caring people. About judgment, that we could make the wrong assessment about people. I think this is a big lesson I have to learn. That illusions don't, we have to fight the illusion. We have to really go by more tangible things. What makes them tick? And people can change, and I can change. When people go under the most tremendous stresses, anything is possible. But God forbid, may He keep me safe, or, the Creator. Yeah, the Creator's not a he or she, but may the Creator, or I call my benevolent ones, my helpers, may they guide me, and may I, actively, when you feel you get stress on situations, to go within. I know that sounds real new agey. I know it does. But really, we have to control our mind, our thought processes, because it can set us off. Something gets so overwhelming. But when I went outside yesterday in the 90 something degree Fahrenheit heat, I said, don't get worked up. Just take deep breaths for a moment. And this is all a show. This is all a show. Nothing in it is real. This is for whatever reason we're here, that we decided this consciousness, this awareness, we're to learn from it, challenge ourselves. It's like a Monopoly game. It's like a game. And some people really take this game serious. Yeah, I take this game serious. I thought this was real. But this is real as other things are real. Those other things, these things in meditation, they're just as real. It's your, what you call, point of attention. The point of attention, just like in the olden days with a record player, and you're playing your song on it, your music, right? Yeah. And so now you have a new system. This new, this a takeover. There's a planetary. I know this sounds very bizarre, but you read the signs and you tell me. This seems to be a change of the guards globally. There is a changing of the guards. You notice a lot of people now, famous people, young and old, are dying. When you go on the social media and you get the news footage, what's trending. A lot of people are dying, young and old, quickly. And then the things that are happening in the big cities. Yeah, there is a changing of the guards, people. It's going to be a change in system. You notice also, this is very important, people. There's also people who are, what do you call it? System. They want everything computerized. For example, there's no payphones now. Most people have cell phones. I got my first smartphone in 2012, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you can count how many people on the train or were in transit with a phone. Now you count the opposite. Who doesn't have a phone? You hear what I'm saying? Everything's automated. You go to McDonald's, they have these machines. You place your order in the machine or on your cell phone. Place your order and then you come up front. See, they want to make everything automated. What's automation? Computer. A robot is going to take your order. A robot or computer is taking your order. They don't want you connected with other human beings. They want you to not really know yourself. They're even having like what we call the metaverse. Hey, you can buy property on the metaverse. Hey, you can get new friends on the so they're encouraging people to not deal with human beings, to not deal with human beings, but a cyber world. Hey, we make it cheaper if you go on the cyber world to place your order.
Or we'll make it more convenient. We'll make it quicker. You see that? That's what they're doing. They're disconnecting us to humanity. They want us cooped up in a room all day on our devices. You notice now they're encouraging people to do business online. I get all these commercials on, on this channel. When I'm surfing, this channel, YouTube, all these commercials. Hey, you don't have to work. You just do everything at home, and we help you set it up, and you make passive money. Passive money. Are you getting that same type of commercials, advertisement on your when you're watching YouTube videos? I'm bombarded by them, and it's the same ones, over and over and over again. They're really pushing it. They don't want you to get a job out there. They want you to do everything online. Everything. Hey, you can get a virtual reality glasses. Hey, you don't have to go outside. You just put the goggles on, you put those handsets on, and you can pretend that you're doing a workout at the gym. Hey, we have a virtual reality, you go into a Starbucks or go into this place, that place. Pretend you're doing shopping. Did you hear that? What do you call it? Starbucks is closing a lot of its stores. I heard it's so popular. They say, oh well, the crime, the crime. This and that. It's always been crime in New York City, on the planet. But see, that's the excuse. See, they, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, they are purposely targeting people. They are what do you call triggering them. That's what I meant to say. They are triggering young people. You notice now you have a lot of white boys, like 20 or in their teens. They're doing the mass shooting now. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say that word. But you notice they're young white kids. I consider them kids at that age. But yeah, why is that? See, all of a sudden it's a big problem when they're doing it to other Caucasians. It should be important if anyone is being shot at. But see, now it's a national problem because they're doing it now. But see, they're triggering them to do it. A lot of these kids are on Ritalin. Ritalin destroys the minds of young people. And also, some people had the jabby jab over the past year and a half. Remember that? And I believe that they put stuff in those injections and they could send out certain frequencies out there to trigger them. Don't you notice, also there are movies out now. I mean, the movies that are out recently, I should say. One that came out a couple of years, maybe 5 years ago, about this type of thing. It was at an airport, and everybody's on their cell phone, and then they got triggered and they became zombies. You saw that movie? Well, I believe that's what's happening. People are one by one being activated to do things against other people. Just like, remember last year in November, I got attacked by this woman that I believe got triggered. She was on alcohol. Nothing like this ever happened to me. I've never seen anything like this. And then the cops, they didn't arrest her, and then just put her in the to be evaluated in the hospital. She was out on the street right after that. Yeah, I talked about that already. But yeah, young people are being triggered. Young white people are being triggered because they want to push the agenda to remove your weapons, so now you cannot fight back. They will, what happens in Australia, what happens in Canada will happen here. What happened last year in Canada? What did those people do to those people who didn't want to wear that thing on their face? Doesn't it make sense? Oh, we want to protect your life, so we're going to clobber you over your head. Yeah, this is about control. Um, I'm going to say Trump wasn't supposed to be in office. Was that 6 years ago? He wasn't supposed to get in. And Hillary was to do this New World Order change. And so they're working overtime to try to implement this socialist, dangerous society in America. And I think they want to make it global control. And I think global control through China, in my opinion. And no, this is not an anti-Chinese. No, not at all. But the government of China, communist China. And they want to implement shop here in New York City. Their presence, all of a sudden, all of a sudden they're here. I did talk about it about 5 years ago. I did a video about it because I heard something about Canada and what was happening in Canada. I said it's going to happen here in New York, in New York, or here in America, and whammo, it's happening very quickly. I see it. I see it happening very quickly here, and so I don't like it. Yeah, they want to create this change, and so they want to get rid of the old class. Yeah, all the old school people, like a Ivanna Trump type people. Yep. She said someone was asking they gave an offer for her building. Yeah, she said she was offered 40 billion in an interview, a recent interview. Well, relatively recent, but 5 years ago. Yeah, they want to buy out the people here, and they're going to implement, in my opinion, I feel it, a new a new class of people here. Yep, that's what I see, and I feel that it's time for me to move. Yeah, I'm not moving with it. I feel stuck here. I don't like where it's headed. It's filthy out there. It's not good at all. It's not good. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy scene. Um, but I love the city. I love the city life. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, so there's going to be major changes in the near future, and some people even suggesting or believe that yeah, they have this commercial uh, about what to do. It was by the government. The government put it up. What to do if we get a nuclear attack. Now, why have a commercial like that? Well, they know something. And it's the second person that made mention about it. This person that does remote viewing saw something to that effect in the nation's capital. If that I do not want to be here when that happens. I don't want to be here. But I have to do a lot of soul searching, how I really want to handle this. I want us all safe. Yeah, let me just say, whatever what reality is, you are real. And love yourself. And start saying good things about yourself. And do good things for other people if you can. And if you don't want to do anything for somebody, be polite about it and just, be discreet about it. But love yourself, respect yourself, and this too will end. Okay. Yeah, I've been on long enough. I hope you got something out of this video, this live stream. Yeah, I talked about a little bit about Ivana Trump, uh, uh, end of an era. I talked about the reincarnation, and I talked about my experience in Brooklyn yesterday, and how society is making this into the have and have not, and that the, that places based on demographics don't want you comfortable. They don't want you to have a seat to sit on, and it's always another excuse. It's always another excuse when you do live in a so-called middle-class black neighborhood. Oh, but you can't have a bench to sit waiting for the bus because a homeless person might sit down. How horrible. How horrible. They're always doing things to screw with black people's areas. And remember, I did that video regarding that so-called wannabe Native American Indian slash black person who doesn't like black people, and it had the ability to have the neighborhood with a bench or that shelter thing to protect from the elements. But no, because she looks ugly. But she got a car, she and her husband. There are people in that neighborhood. It's a residential neighborhood of, modest income people and homeowners. And some of us rely on the bus. It gets cold. It rains. So only in white neighborhoods could they have a bench to sit on if they have the bus. It's horrible. Horrible. Let's start to love one another, love ourselves. Black people, don't settle for less. Don't settle for less, black people or other people of color. Those people who are affected by poverty. Start writing letters. Maybe, I'm thinking about maybe I should write a letter about my experience yesterday, needing a bus. I'm sorry, needing a place just to sit down to eat my food and not in 94-degree weather. Yeah, I got to find who I could write to. And I don't know. Um, I don't want to stand for, I will not tolerate this. And you shouldn't tolerate it either, people. If you live in a modest neighborhood, whatever, you know, don't settle for less anymore. See, we need to start speaking out and say, you live here and you get tired. You need your benches to sit down in the heat, from the heat. You need malls, shopping malls that have places, comfort stations, places to sit, because you have people with children, animals, you're tired. And it shouldn't be there just for the rich to be able to sit down comfortably. You go in malls that cater to white people, they have places to sit down. You don't have to buy anything to have a seat just to catch your breath with you and your family. Yeah. Don't settle for less, people. Start speaking out. Write your letters. Remember that lady, real quick before I go, Meghan Markle, who married Harry, Prince Harry. When she was a little girl, um, she um, she saw a commercial. It was a liquid soap dish detergent commercial, and it implied or suggested that how she took it as a little girl. She was about 10 years old, and or 11, and it was saying that women wash dishes, but she lived with her father, and her father did dishes. Just how come they are saying that just women and not just people who wash dishes? So the father said, well, why don't you write them a letter? And she did. And she was on television as a little girl who spoke out against the sexism in the commercials, and that they should change, and that people who wash dishes, and they made a change. That lady, and you know what else with Meghan Markle? You know, many people may not like her, but um, she had a point. And I think people are selected from very small. You have people, and I believe she was selected from very small, and it's not by accident that she is from a biracial uh, parents. One parent white, one parent black. It's not by accident. And that they selected her from very young because they know that she was going to be marrying into the royal family in Britain. Yeah, thank you for giving me the thumbs up. Yeah, from very small, she was selected. It's not by accident, people. Nothing that you do is by accident. When her father instructed her, write a letter, and she did, help spark her activism, whether fake or not, activism at that young age. I think people, those of you who will benefit by when it's 90 something degrees, somewhere you can sit down to socialize, because we're human beings, we need to see one another, cool to something, cooling stations or benches you can sit down under a tree. We are social beings. Screw those people who want us to be locked indoors, and stay behind a computer. If you want to do that, do what you want to do. But those of you who are human minded, who want to interact with human beings, speak out and say, we demand these social services that our taxes go into. The subway was hot outside. I mean, hot inside the subway when I went to bring my dogs to the vet. It was 94 degrees yesterday, Fahrenheit. And for them to not have air conditioning in the that's why people get sick. See, they take our money, but they don't do service. And they don't seem to like to do service to people of color or refugee neighborhoods, new immigrant neighborhoods. And I'm sick of it. So maybe I'll type a letter today. I just don't want to stay anymore. But I'm tired of it. If I'm going to leave, I want to leave with my head up high, and that I at least did something to try to make this place a better place. I want a better place for all of us, whether I decide to stay or go from New York City. I want everybody to have the decent life, just the basics, to have at least the basics. Somewhere where if it's hot outside, so that you don't have to go to buy something. A lot of places, what do you call it, buy and carry out. No eat in. You buy it and you get out, and there's no place for you to sit down and eat it. You think that we're fucking animals? I don't even treat my dogs like that. They're right there. Those are my little babies there. They're family. They're family. We're human beings, and they're treating us like we're nobody. We are somebody. We are someone, regardless of your race, religion, national origin. We are human beings. Let's treat ourselves and others like human beings. Let us love ourselves and love others. Okay? Yeah. So that's my thoughts for the day. And yes, if you want to know the rest of the content, you could put it on for, the beginning of the live stream. Part of the live stream, I accidentally pressed this button and the screen got black. Yeah, and I couldn't figure out what was happening. But yeah, I found out what happened and I fixed it. So I apologize for that. Yes. So yes. So you can just see the rest of the stream. Yeah, I talked about different things. I talked about Ivana Trump's funeral yesterday that I watched on television. I talked about my experience in Brooklyn. I had to bring my dogs to get their teeth cleaned and how I was made to feel by a security guard because I had to sit on the floor in the mall to just eat my food, um, and just other experiences that I had. Yes. So thank you again, and give me the thumbs up. If you like this content and you want to support this channel, you could PayPal me. Yes, to do so, you go to my channel, Spirit Journey, and on the top right of the banner, you will see my PayPal me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompt, and any amount would be greatly appreciated. And I'm thanking you in advance for doing so. Peace, love, joy, and harmony and protection be unto you all. Stay safe. Drink all your fluids, please. Drink your liquids. Stay hydrated, people, and try to stay calm. Thank you again for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Until next time soon, I hope. Bye bye.